Hey folks, and thanks for joining me. Today we're going to be looking at my top 10 logos that utilize negative space. So what do I mean by negative space? Well, when a designer is creating a logo, they'll be utilizing shapes, letters to create the logo itself. And between those shapes and letters, you have empty space, which we call negative space. And sometimes through clever use of combinations of shapes and letters, you can create shapes with that negative space. One of the most famous examples of that would be the FedEx logo that you can see here. Now, if you look carefully, between the letter E and the letter X in the word FedEx, you'll see an arrow which is created using the negative space. Now, this is great for FedEx, who make deliveries and are moving forwards, always driving from place to place. So the arrow is perfect for the FedEx logo. Now, creating logos which have a great use of negative space isn't easy. Sometimes you'll be super lucky and it will just happen by accident. But more often than not, the designer has to spend a lot of time looking at various options to see if they can bring some great use of negative space into the logo. So without further ado, let's get looking at my top 10. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to start with number 10 and work my way down to number 1, which is my favourite negative space logo, until my new favourite turns up at some point in the future. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so the first one is City Direct. Now, it's a really simple logo, and most negative space logos are simple in their makeup. That's the beauty about them. They're just really well done. Now, when it comes to things like airlines and stuff like that, you usually see a lot of globes and a lot of airplanes in there. Now, I'm not a huge fan of that. I like to see something a little bit more clever in those types of logos, but this one is clever. They've taken the C and the D and used the shape of an airplane for the negative space. And it's so simple, but works really, really well. I also think the weight of the text as well, City Direct, and having it having the word city and the word direct right up to next to one another works really well. I will apologise for the quality of the logo that I've actually got here. It was the best one that I could find online. So that's number 10, City Direct. Number 9 is Yoga Australia. Again, love this one because they've managed to get the shape of Australia into this logo in what seems like a completely natural way. The leg and the arm and the behind of the lady in the yoga pose forming that shape really, really well. Okay, it may not be, the leg does bend a little bit there, but I think they've done a great job, and I think it's a really clever way of getting Australia into that logo. There could have been other ways to do it, but this is just perfect for what it's representing. So yeah, really, really good negative space logo there again. Number 8 is an older logo actually, the NBC channel in America, and I'm going to probably say this all the way through, but it's such a simple logo. Now, we can see here in black and white, it's maybe not so clear because people are used to seeing this logo in colour. But if you haven't seen it before, the negative space is here in the middle. And I suppose you could count these prongs, I suppose, going off from the middle. And it's actually a peacock. And if I bring in the yellow just to show that's the body of the peacock. And what I'll do as well is I'll show you the colour. So now it kind of makes more sense. You've got the colourful peacock feathers coming out there for the NBC logo. And I just think it's really, really effective, and it hasn't really changed. They've made 3D versions of it and things like that, but the overall, even the flat version of the logo is just really, really good, and it had to be in my top 10 negative space logos. And number 7 is this word mark, think. I think it's really good. I just love the way that when you look at it more closely, it actually it plays, it looks a bit funny. But if you look at it quickly, you just instantly see the word think with that use of negative space for the N next to the I and the K. And it's just really clever. It's just a great way of using the negative space there to form the letter N. And it does make you think, it does make you look at that logo. Yeah, excellent work there on that one. And next up, this logo is probably one of the first negative space logos that I was really aware of, and I think I saw in someone else's top 10 or top 5. I think it was on Logo Design Love, and just instantly captured by this logo and how effective it is in getting across a lot of messages in here. Now, it represents a plumbing company, and you've got the sort of stylized human here with the hat on who's running fast, so kind of getting across that it's a speedy service, it's a speedy plumbing service. And they've used the negative space between the arm, the leg and the body in here to form a plunger, you know, one of the basic tools that a plumber has. And I just love this. I love the form of it. I love all the curves and the movement that comes across, and sort of, yeah, the swiftness and the speed in here. It's a fantastic logo. It was my number 1 for quite some time, but it's slowly kind of worked its way down the list a little bit. And we're going to move on to number 5, which is pencil. Again, super effective. You've got the word pencil, and they've added this little triangle below the I and the L. And with the negative space that's formed in between these shapes, you get the image of a pencil. And it's one of those ones where it visually represents the word. And those are great. I'm a big fan of those. I've seen a few other ones as well. One which I think one is mouse. I should have actually brought that in here. That's a really, really good one as well. So if you go search that one out, it has the word mouse, and they've put the body shape of I suppose more the body shape of a computer mouse than a real live mouse into the text, and it works really well. So you should go check that one out. But I love this pencil one. It's so simple and so clever. And so now we're into my top 5, number 4, and it's the USA network. Don't really say much about this one, do I? I mean, I think it's fairly obvious. It says USA. I love the chunkiness of this. I'm a big fan of big, bold logos. Aaron Draplin's logos, I love his stuff, his thick, bold lines. Big fan of that style, and this really, really speaks to me. It's just so clear, so simple and so clear. I don't really need to show you where the S is, but you know, there it is there, bang in the middle, and it just works so well. The flow of this whole shape just works fantastically well. It's a great job, really well balanced. Fantastic work on that one. Number 3, Vino Piano. I can't say enough about this one. I just absolutely love it. It says Vino Piano elegant taste, and everything about this logo is elegant for me. It's just the thin lines, and you know, kind of the how tall it is as well. Just the symbol It's just really, really tall and elegant and thin, and it just does what it says on the tin, really. And in this one, what we have is we've got essentially wine and piano, and what they've done is they've used the wine glasses and the stems of the wine glasses to also form the keys of a piano. And I'll just bring that up just to show there, and it's just fantastically well done. So simple, and in a way so obvious. It's another thing as well. If you think it's, well, that's obvious, or I could have done that. Wow, that's, it's simple when you think about it. Those are great logos, and I just think this one has been carried off really well. Even just little things like the little highlight on the glasses there to just kind of set those off, because you would have those highlights on the raised black keys as well, and it also gives sort of a 3-dimension to the base of the wine glass. So I absolutely love this one, so it's no surprise this one's in my top 3. And now we're into my last 2, and this was a tough one for me because these last 2 I think are fantastic, but this is the one that came in at number 2, and it is actually the book cover for the novel Moby Dick. And as we can see here, we've got the whale's tail forming here the letter M. Now, I spotted that straight away, obviously, when I saw it, and I loved it. But what I didn't catch straight away, and it actually took me a little while to spot it was there, and that was after seeing the whale's tail, it took me a few views of it actually to spot that the designer had actually included the harpoon as well that Ahab wanted to kill the great white whale Moby Dick with. And I just, when I saw that, it was like, wow, that's brilliant. I love logos where I don't instantly see something about them and catch it later on. Sometimes it could be months or years. The Toblerone logo is a good one for me actually, because I just did not know that there was a bear on the mountain symbol of the Toblerone logo. And if you haven't seen that yourself, again, go check it out. There is a bear there, and I didn't see that. Someone actually had to point that out to me. It wasn't one that I was aware of. And it's the same with this. It just wasn't. Once I've seen it, I can't unsee it. But I just thought, it was the top shape of the M. I was just fully focused on this whale's tail. But to get both in there, to get the story of the hunt of the whale into one letter, for the capital letter of Moby, is just fantastic. It's just a great two uses of negative space there with the harpoon and the whale's tail. And so my number 1, and it may surprise a few people, it may not, but here it is, and it's for the Guild of Food Writers. Now I just love this because it is such a simple idea. So simple. It's food writers. So what have you got? You've got the quill of a pen, and you have a spoon. That's all you need. It just is so perfect. And I just, just a really clean font, clean typography below that symbol, and it just, it's one of those perfect logos for me. It's just fantastic. Wish I'd done it. I've seen a few other logos which are similar, using the same sort of thing with a pen and maybe a fork on the inside or something like that. But the spoon is just there. It looks like a pen nib, and they've just got that slight shape of the spoon there, and it just is perfecto for me. So that's my run through of my negative space logos. Well, there you have it, folks. That's my top 10 logos which utilize negative space. Are any of those your favourites as well? Or do you have some which I've not covered today which you'd like others to know about? If you do, leave a link to them in the comments section below. Or even better, you may have created a logo yourself which utilises negative space. I'd really love to see that. And again, leave a link to it in the comments section below. Make sure you give the video a like, subscribe to my channel, and until I see you next time, stay creative, folks.